Okay. Well, I probably should have checked what I looked like prior to jumping on to Untangled, but all right, you guys, I hope that the Wi-Fi is going to be okay here. Hi, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, good evening, where are you, wherever you are. Hold on. We made it. Good morning. How are you guys? Let me do something else. Hold on. Set the mood. Can you guys hear me okay? I don't have a microphone or any of that. So keep adjusting the Oh, we guys. Hi, Wes. I am going to get back to you, I promise. I've just been really, really busy. Hello. Welcome to Untangled, episode 25. Say hello in the chat box if you can. And let us know where you're from. Hi, Taz. Your lip stuff is amazing, by the way. I put it on every day. South Africa, hello. Hi, Lars. I saw your email. I sent it back. Thanks for all your patience with the seminar this weekend. Holy Moses, my virtual seminar was insane. Palestine, Canada, Netherlands, Berlin, Germany, Argentina. Whoa, Johannesburg, South Africa, Southern California, London, Switzerland. I love it. Finland, UK, Canada, Arizona, Turkey, New York, Israel, Alabama, Ethiopia, Croatia. We're coming in from all over. Japan. Hello, Japan. It's really good to be here with you guys. Happy Untangled, New Orleans. You're going to go vote. I think that's the last thing you're going to go do. Today is voting day in California and in the United States. Iceland. Ireland. I'll be in Ireland March 16th for an event. Tickets are still available. They're on my website. Thanks, Beth, for joining with us. Woo! How are you guys doing? How is everybody doing? November 8th, the Ozarks. Happy full moon. Happy total lunar eclipse, full moon, I believe, in Taurus, whatever that means. I don't even know what that means, but it means something, I think. Weird. I'm feeling depressed. It's awful the last few weeks. My birthday is the 17th of March. Oh, how fun. You're feeling good. The energy is good. I'm tired. Intense emotion, being triggered. Well, let's start. Let's do this. I love and appreciate you so dang much, Catherine. You're still high after the weekend in Sedona. Yay. Oh gosh, we had so much fun, you guys. I did a in-person 3-day seminar in Sedona this weekend, which is why I'm still here in Sedona. And I did a virtual event. I streamed it live and it was a disaster. So that happened. It was an absolute shit show of a virtual event. So there was a big, huge learning curve. Yeah, there was a lot that unraveled. Lots of people signed up for the virtual ticket and it did not go well. We had a lot of technical issues and it was really, really interesting. So because I had to keep myself in a pretty focused state. So I couldn't really focus on what was actually happening with the technical difficulties until afterwards. But a lot of surrendering. We had to all do a lot of surrendering, a lot of acceptance, a lot of triggers. A lot of people got triggered. So it was really, really interesting. but it was powerful. It was still very powerful. You know, one of the biggest, I don't know, I guess, takeaways that was coming through, and I think this is a takeaway in life, for life in general, right? Is I was sparked, not triggered. I love that, Sean. One of the takeaways that I think we are practicing more and more, maybe not, but let me know if you are, is this this idea of surrendering to what is, like really surrendering to what is, and like what can you do about it? You know what I mean? Like even afterwards, I was sitting here this morning. The more days go by, the more I can kind of fester in the frustration and the anger of what happened and whose fault it was and what we could have done and what we couldn't have done. Right? Am I going to say something? Am I not? And what am I going to do? Like, there's just a lot that I'm processing with it all. And I said to myself, I was like, what's the highest expression for myself, right? Like where, like, okay, so I teach all of these things. I practice all these things like presence and flow and surrender and acceptance, and whatever shows up for me is always for my highest good. Whatever shows up for me is always teaching me something, right? Nothing's an accident. Everything is here to serve me. We don't have to like that. Many of us don't like that. I didn't like what happened this weekend. I would have chosen, obviously, for that not to happen. Okay. But if I am practicing what I teach, then everything is serving me in some way. And were there other people involved, and you potentially could say they had a role in it, right? There's something for them to learn as well. Sure. But is it my job to tell them what that is? No. My job in my life is to take responsibility for what I'm bringing into my life. And essentially, this was brought to me by me. Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened. I believe that in every waking moment of my life. I believe that. And I think that when you step into that, it pulls you out of victimhood. And there's something about victimhood that allows us to more easily process and go through life. If you're capable of blaming other people, then it's a lot easier for you to not have to look at what it is that you're actually needing to look at. Right? And so it's very easy, and it's our go-to, right? Because what happens is, I'll go back to the weekend. I'll pull up the emotions that occurred in that weekend. Okay, I'll run through what happened. I'll run through, you should have done this, you should have done that. These things should have happened. I'll pull that past into this now moment. In this now moment, I will start to feel all of those emotions again, and then I'm going to react and respond in this moment right here, right now, based on what happened in the past. Problem is that what's happening right here, right now is not the past. What's happening right here, right now is what's happening right here, right now. And if I look back at the past, which was a couple days ago, like I can't even like offer my virtual seminar to people. It's the quality of the replays are not at the highest quality. So I won't be offering it and selling it, right? So there's all these things, there's all these like domino effects as to what happened. So I could get really upset and like fester in it and blame other people, or I could say it happened. I brought it to myself for a reason. It's nobody else's fault but mine. There's not even a fault to it. There is no fault. It just is. So how do I want to show up right here, right now? And think about this for a minute. If you know, as hard as this is not easy, but if you know that you are always serving you through other people, and that everything that is in your life right now is from you serving you, you being the expression and experience of consciousness in a physical form, designed, in my opinion, to constantly evolve into new states of awareness, new ways of being, knowing that you're none of it, right? And that it's the other people that are playing a role are just serving you in some way. Then how would you show up right here, right now, Lorie? It would dissolve. It would be gone. There would be nothing to argue. There would be nothing to discuss. It literally dissolves when you realize that right here, right now is all there is, and everything was served to me by me. Now, that's not to say that you don't have arguments and that you don't say this was wrong, this isn't okay, I'm not accepting this, these are my boundaries, you need to look at this, this is not perfect, like whatever that is, right? I'm not saying that you don't do that. But what I'm saying is that all of that will dissolve the moment you realize that you were serving yourself. And then the self that you were even serving doesn't even need to associate with what it was being served, right? So meaning it's none of it. So you go even deeper and then it's like, who cares? What does it matter? And I think right now, as we are navigating this really intense evolutionary shift in consciousness, right? This evolutionary shift in consciousness is the awarenesses that you have every day, which is why you're constantly being triggered. You're constantly feeling, you're constantly exhausted. You're constantly whatever it is, right? There is so much feeling that is being experienced by you. There's so many new awarenesses that are being had by you. There's so much more essentially there's much more of an experience being had now, like almost like a more palpable experience of what you're in. The waking up process is almost like you become more sensitive. Life becomes more palpable, you know, apart from what didn't go the way you thought it should. True. Did you enjoy yourself? I had a really good time. I had a really good time at the event. It was my first in-person event that was that long, 3 days. And it was really powerful energies that we held, really powerful energies that we held. There was definitely massive shifting that was happening and purging in the room, like that we weren't, the humans weren't necessarily aware of. There was a lot of, you know, what was interesting that I teach this and I held this all weekend was the balancing of the dark and the light, the balancing of it, and the heaviness and the lightness, how to hold both. And not to run from that darkness, not to run from the heaviness, not to run from the fears, not to run from what you don't want to feel. There was a deeper awareness that you're none of it, right? And how do you start living or moving into more of a flow state in the midst of a massive global planetary evolution? Because if you remember what a planetary human collective evolution is, it means that you're not going anywhere. You're not exiting anything. You can't hide or bypass from this shift in consciousness. And the shift in consciousness is going to show you what has been in the shadows, the dark. It's going to show you that. It doesn't mean that the dark or the shadow is bad or negative. It means that the dark or the shadow has been in the shadow and you have been unconscious to it. So the only way that you can step out into what is by seeing what you didn't realize you were in. So an entire human collective has to begin to start to see everything they were in. And the individual human has to start to see everything that they have been living as that they never have been. So you have to start to see all of the behaviors that you have been playing in that have been unconscious. The unconsciousness that each human holds and the unconsciousness on the entire planet with the entire human collective is so massive. We don't even realize the deep-seated fears that are actually unconsciously controlling us, and controlling us being we are reacting and responding to life based on these deep internal fears that we don't realize. We are reacting and we are being controlled by unconsciousness, which means that you are reacting and responding to life based on unconscious limiting beliefs, unconscious thoughts, unconscious programming. You don't even realize that you are responding to life based on something within you that is so unconscious that you don't even realize you're responding to life from it. So how does the unconscious become conscious? You start to feel. The light starts to get brighter in your body, and it starts to open up the shades. And then you start looking inward saying, holy shit, okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. These people, I'm always blaming. I'm always playing the victim role. I'm always doing this. This is my constant reaction and response to people. These are the patterns that keep showing up. That's the evolution in consciousness. And all that means in terms of evolution in consciousness is that your ability to be in new states of beingness, like abilities to play in this physical realm, you start expanding into a more free state. When you start expanding into more of a free state of being, there's an expansiveness, which means that I hope you guys are getting this, because we live in a quantum field, right? Because we live in such a vast field of consciousness, there is so much more available to us to be in. And there's a freedom when you stop trying to choose or I only want to experience this. I only want to feel this. I only want this. I only want that. When you stop doing that, being specific about what you want to experience, being specific about how you want things to go, specificity, if that's a word, is control. And the way that you reach freedom, the way that you continue to expand and receive, is to let go of control. You have to let go of, there's nothing to control. The more free you become, the less you control. That's true freedom, is not controlling anything and looking at the things that you still want to control, looking at the ways and the things that you still want to hold on to, the identifications that you have about yourself. This is who I am, so this is what I do. It's not who you are. It's a belief that you have. So this evolution that you're going through right now, everything that's happening with you, all the ways in which you are experiencing lack, all the ways in which you are experiencing sadness or grief or restriction, tightness, control, victimhood, whatever it is, right? Whatever you're experiencing. And maybe it's more empowerment and you're watching people leave your life the more you become empowered, right? Or maybe it's you're continuing to take these massive leaps and massive jumps in life, right? And you're realizing, holy shit, I can do this. I can really do this. But at the same time, no matter what path you're on, at the same time, you're going to continue to be shown, quote unquote, the shadow. You're going to continue to be shown deeper fears you have. You're going to continue to be shown more intense limiting thoughts that you have. You're going to be shown everything that is still holding you back from that free state of being, which we've always been in this free state. We've always been in flow. There's not been one moment that we haven't been in a flow state, because that's our natural state of being as consciousness or as energy. But we live in a very dense physical world, okay? And this dense physical world creates trauma, programming, mind control, these kinds of things, right? And so we have been born into something that restricts us or holds us back from our true state of being, which is flow, absolute freedom, non-attachment to any of what you are experiencing, non-attachment to anything that you are experiencing. And because this is multi-layered and this is an intense physical world that we live in, you have to pay attention to what you are continuing to believe that you are. You have to continue to watch how you're going to pull the past into the now and how you're going to try to pull the future into the now. right? The way that you pull the future into the now is that you're trying to predict what the future is going to be. Well, if I do ... then ... is going to happen. So basically what you're doing is you're saying, if this happens in the future, which is what I'm predicting in the now, this is how I'm going to be in the now. So you're basing your now on a future that you're trying to predict that you can't predict. You're not even living. You're not even experiencing the greatest gifts that are here to be experienced by you, for you. Right? So you're the highest potential that is available for us in every moment is right here, right now. And then right here, right now. And then right here, right now, right? There's this interesting, like, one of the ways, you guys, that you can move through this more easily, right, is that you really start practicing just allowing yourself to feel. And something that came through this weekend, and this question comes in a lot, right, is there's two things that happen when you start feeling a lot more. There's two things that start to happen when you start feeling a lot more. One is you identify as the feeling, and then you give power to that feeling. Okay. And then that feeling all of a sudden is controlling you, which is why you want to get out of it. And when you want to get out of an emotion, that emotion is controlling you. When you want to get out of an emotion, then you have identified as that emotion. You've labeled it. You have a storyline around that emotion. You're not actually just feeling. You've now anchored it in. So what that means is that you're experiencing sadness or anxiety or a fear of something, right? And you are so in that feeling, right? The focus is simply in that. You're focusing on the feeling. It's like, oh my God, this is the feeling, right? Sadness, anxiety, depression, whatever. Oh my God, I'm feeling this. I'm just going to feel this. I'm going to feel this. And how long is this going to be there? I need to figure this out. I need to change it. I need to fix it. You're so focused on the actual feeling that you've anchored that feeling in, and the feeling is now controlling you unconsciously. The actual natural state of feeling is, oh, look what's arising. Look at anger, look at sadness, look at depression. It's out. It's not, I don't have to do this, like focus, 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 focus. It just is. It's going to walk with me side by side until it's no longer there. And then something else arises and it's walking with me. So I'm feeling it as something separate from me. That's the observer. It's separate from me. It just is. Every feeling you have just is. Fear just is. Anxiety just is. Sadness just is. And it actually isn't what you're labeling it as. Sadness isn't actually sadness. It's just an energy. That's all it is. And it's creating what we have termed sadness. But here's the problem with labels. When someone says, I'm feeling sadness, you're now taking that word sadness, and there's all these preconceived notions about sadness that's very unconscious. Instead of simply letting the energy pop up, and then you are moving through the energy that we call sadness. It's very different. You can't attach to something that you know is just an energy moving through you. It can't control you. It doesn't stay. It doesn't stay. But when you grab it and you're like, I'm feeling it, I'm feeling it, I'm feeling it, I'm feeling it. No, you're grabbing it, attaching it, and anchoring it into your reality. And now it's weighing you down. It's all you think about. It's what you're trying to figure out. Now you're trying to navigate this energy, this emotion. No. Pop, here comes stress, here comes anxiety, here comes fear, here comes whatever it is. Boom. It's literally just popped up and you just keep going. You do the next thing, you do the next thing, you do the next thing, and it just is here until it's no longer here. And then something else pops up. And maybe there's 6 different things that are popping up in every moment, right? And you're just moving as the observer with all of these things popping up. That's how you feel. The remembrance and awareness that everything is moving through you. That nothing, the only reason we are afraid of emotions, the only reason that we want to change an emotion, which all emotion isn't even an emotion, emotion is just energy. But the reason we want to change it is because we think it's going to stay. And the reason we think it's going to stay is because our entire lives we haven't understood that energy just needs to move through us. And because it's intense at times, the energy of it, the frequency of it, the vibration of it, the interaction with it is so intense, we don't like it. And because we don't understand that it's just energy and we don't like it, we push it down, or we focus on it so deeply that it's constantly in front of us. You understand that if anxiety pops up, or if a fear pops up, or if sadness pops up, or if depression pops up and you're like, oh my God, look what I'm feeling, look what I'm feeling, look what I'm feeling, look what I'm feeling. This is what you're doing all day long. You're looking at the emotion, look what I'm feeling, look what I'm feeling, look what I'm feeling. Of course it's going to control you. Of course you're going to want to get rid of it. It's directly in front of your face all day long. So you're like, fuck this shit, I want out. How do I get this out? It's designed to be like this. Oh, look, here it is. And it's not in front of me. It just is. I'm feeling it as any other experience I would have in every now moment until it's dissolved. Energy, this emotion, whatever emotion you're feeling, is always moving. It only stays when you stare at it and hold it and try to figure it out and literally anchor it until it's all you're looking at. You're consumed by it. That's not the way we're designed to live, especially, this is a huge practice, you guys, right now, as everything is coming up and being shown to you. Boop, this was in you. Boop, this is in you. Boop, this is in you. Boop, this is in you. Oh, you're identifying as this. Guess what? You think you're this. Guess what? You've been doing this in order to avoid. Guess what? You have you have these coping mechanisms. Everything is being shown to you because it's being served to you by you in order to free you. Everything is freeing you from this illusion that you have been living in a free state, which you haven't been. You've been controlled by programming, trauma, mind control. And you've been thinking that you've been living a life that's free and that you have been choosing. But you haven't. We've been living a life in a prison cell thinking that we are free. It's like a bird that has never flown before and lives in a cage. You've heard that analogy. The bird thinks that this is the way life is. It has no idea that it can fly. It doesn't understand that it's designed to naturally fly. And so the cage opens and they're like, what the fuck? Now what do I do? You move into your natural state of being, which is flying, which is being free. And the bird's like, but I've been free my whole life. No, you've been enslaved. You've been imprisoned. You've had the illusion that you've been free. And then to actually move out of the cage and trust that your natural state of being is to fly when you never have requires courage. Massive amounts of courage. Being able to trust what you cannot see. We are all learning, or it's not even learning, it's a remembrance to me. Where we are remembering that we came into this dimensional realm as consciousness into a dense physical form for the sole purpose, for the initial jolt into incarnation was to be able to experience this time on the planetary body, which is a physical shift in consciousness, which means that you stay in a physical body, believing that you are that physical body when the entire time you are consciousness, learning that that physical body is consciousness as well, energy and light, and that it is going to continue to evolve into new frequencies and vibrations, allowing the consciousness that is within you to have new states of experience. And the awareness that you think that you are, this egoic structure, right? And all the other aspects that you think that you are, start to recognize that they aren't that. And then the vastness begins to be held. The vastness begins to be experienced. This state of awareness and freedom of like, holy shit, I get to experience all of this. What the hell? I'm none of it. How do I start moving through this? That's why it is so important to not run from the shadow, to not run from lower vibrations, whatever that is. This idea that lower vibrations are bad and higher vibrations are good is identification with the vibrations. I want you to think about that for a minute. You are identifying with the vibrational states that you think you are. If you didn't identify with low vibrations and high vibrations, then you wouldn't be trying to move yourself into high vibrations. You wouldn't have this idea or this notion that the 5D is the place to be. High vibrational states are the place to be. It's none of it and all of it. True freedom is no longer trying to go anywhere. It's being able to understand that it all just is. It's circular, but there's different frequencies and vibrational states that you're constantly feeling. For instance, sadness has a different frequency, i.e. experience, than joy. Joy has a higher, what higher vibration means, all that means, you guys, is that the energy that you're tapping into, that you're connecting with, that you're having an interaction with, is spinning faster. So it gives you a different experience of that energy. And so when you tap into an experience that in this reality is physical, it's going to give you energetic feedback. And the energetic feedback are all these little energies allowing you to understand the external experience, which we label emotions. It's not emotions, it's energy. So from a much higher perspective, it's like, oh my God, I'm now feeling sadness, right? Somebody just said their sister's dying in a hospital. It's like, okay. So if you recognize that you are having an experience in the external that's physical, your sister in the hospital dying. And as you are having that, you are feeling these energies that we label as sadness or fear or anxiety or worry or grief. So if you bring yourself into the awareness that you are none of it, but you are simply experiencing it, and you're going to allow yourself, here comes the sadness that my sister's in a hospital. Sadness is here. I have a respect for this. I have an appreciation for feeling the experience. I am none of it. It is occurring. You get to have all your opinions about it. This sucks. I hate this. I wish she wasn't dying. I wish I didn't have to go through this, right? Like you get to have all of that human identification with the experience. And then you also are simultaneously becoming aware that you are identifying as the experience. Great. Who cares? Next. This is like the multidimensional, multi-layered experience of being this human physical form right now, which you aren't, but you're in. Right? So you want to, this idea that you have to, first of all, that there's anywhere that you're going is not true. There's nowhere you're going. And that this evolutionary state of this evolution that we are going through is about, it's not about moving out of lower frequencies and into higher frequencies. It's about being aware that you're in all of it. And that the more that you are aware that you're in all of it, you're in the dark and the evil, all these awarenesses that people are having, like of all the shit that's unraveling on the planet, you're in that. It's now being presented so that you can see that you're in that. And the more that you can see that you have been in that, you become free. You can't unsee what you see. The way that you become free is then you then start to see all of the ways in which you have been playing with that which has been in the shadow unconsciously. I've believed this, I've believed that, I've believed this, I gave money to this, I gave power to this, I gave control to this. And now I'm coming back home to me. It's still here. That evil is still here. That corruption is still here. Right? The shadow in you, the traumas are going to be there. Like if I look back at what happened to me at 6 years old, it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't dissolve. Okay. The pain that I went through, the physical experiences that I have, they don't go anywhere. That trauma is just integrated into me and it no longer has control over me. It's still here in this quantum space. It's all that ever is, was, and will be is still here. So the things that happened to me in the past that created the trauma inside of my body, it gets integrated, which means that I'm no longer being controlled by that trauma. I'm no longer being controlled by what has controlled me, which is the shadow. That's evolution. Is that you become free and you start to experience life, this physical life that we're here, in so many other colors and rainbows and spectrums. So we have to continue to allow that which we don't want to see, feel, hear, acknowledge, recognize, pop up. And if I were to go back to like the example of what happened with me this weekend, right? It's like, okay, it happened. The technical issues happened, blah, blah, blah. It is what it is. What was it showing me? What did it show me? How do you coexist with it? You just show up. You recognize that it doesn't have control over you. You recognize that feeling, here's the thing, Sandra. There's nothing to fear around feeling. Think about that for a moment. There's nothing to fear around feeling. If you recognize that there is nothing there is no emotion to fear, to be afraid of, you can feel everything, then what does it matter? What does it matter? Everything can exist. That's what we're learning. Do you look out in the world and see corruption? Yep. The empowerment comes from you choosing how you're going to be in this world with it. Not, oh my God, like, what am I going to do about this? How am I going to make sure that nobody else gets, you can play in that. And there's lots of humans that play in that. And that's great. That's their role. But even if you're playing in it, okay, even if your role is to wake people up by bringing awarenesses and teachings and truths to these shadows, right? You still want to stay detached from the end result. I have to wake people up. What if it's not that you have to wake people up, or you have to share these truths, or you have to make sure that nobody else gets screwed? What if instead, right, it is the presence of this shadow is here, this cage that humans have been in is here, whatever the cage is, corruption or whatever, um and if I show up sort of with the awareness and the light on it, without an attachment to make sure that people see it, that's a state of flow. You're not tight. You're not restrictive. Like, I've got to get people to see this. I've got to get people to see this. I've got to get people to see this. You'll be in suffering. So we're designed to be able to be in all of this nasty shit and not suffer. So you have to recognize that there is a very natural process of this evolution. It's naturally going to awaken humanity, whether we like it or not. And so if you're here to shine the light on these things, then you shine the light with non-attachment. Meaning, I'm going to shine the light on these things, but I don't have an expectation of what's going to happen. Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means? Yeah, you're not going to feel necessarily good when you observe what's actually happening. When you really start to realize how much evil is on the planet. When you start really realizing, your heart's going to break open. Meaning you're going to feel a lot. When you start realizing that the corruption is so deep that there are humans out there that are playing in this game that are trying to depopulate the planet. You think about that, like, depopulate the planet. That means stopping people from being able to have children and killing people. That's what depopulation means. The why behind depopulation, who knows? You can go down many different rabbit holes, but depopulation, which is what's happening right now, in order to control, is two things: murder, killing humans, and stopping the ability to have children. Now, when you recognize that that's happening on the planet, okay, that is a reality. That is in the now. That is in the all that ever is, was, and will be on this planet and outside of this planet in the quantum field. It's occurring. So how do you live in that and not believe that you are it, allowing it to control you, allowing it to take over, allowing yourself to have fear and to go into the future, right? This is the empowered master. This is mastering this human evolution. This planet and your physical existence has the potential and the ability to feel and experience a large spectrum of experiences, including depopulation, the murdering of millions of humans. Okay, that is an experience that will be seen and will be felt and will be had by millions and millions and millions of humans. So how do I master that reality and that experience here on the planet without it controlling me, meaning without me allowing that consciousness, that energy to control me? The way it controls you is that you try to bypass it or ignore it. You allow it to create your reaction and response to the world, right? So you allow fear to take over. You allow the sadness to take over you. Right? You start getting depressed, or you start wanting to like figure things out. So you go down all kinds of you're letting these awarenesses control you instead of simply being in and with it, allowing the experience of the emotion, which is energy, to just be felt. Wow, I'm feeling a shit ton of sadness right now. Wow, it's breaking me down. I'm crying. Wow, this isn't fair. These are things that you feel, simply feel. If you attach to this isn't fair, then you're identifying with this idea that if it that there's a label to this isn't fair. This isn't fair means I now do ... This isn't fair means ... right? So you're attaching to it. You're grabbing it. The way we go through this is we flow with it. We flow through it. Holy shit. They're using all of these techniques and these, they're using psychological techniques, and they're using, GMO, and they're using whatever they're using, right? So you're aware. I don't even know why I'm talking about this right now, but you're aware of these things happening. You're allowing yourself as consciousness to interact with those experiences. And then you're becoming aware, you're being the observer of simply what you are feeling based on what is arising on the planet or within you. And I want to say one more thing, you guys. Anything that brings you into fear is a control mechanism. Anything. And what I mean by that is anything that makes you feel afraid or makes you feel like something has control over you, or something you have to give your power away, or you're powerless. Pay attention to that. It's an illusion. It's a storyline. It's going to pull you out of absolute freedom. It's going to pull you out of your mastery. It's going to pull you out of the badass that you are, including stories that come in the spiritual community as well. These are the things that are happening. Be aware of this. If something is being thrown at you from the space and frequency of fear, just pay attention. Because we're here to bring light to what we have been in, but from an empowered state. So you're not afraid. You don't need to give your power to anything or anyone. Right? You don't need to go down you don't necessarily have to go down all these rabbit holes in order to feel safe. You're safe right here, right now, recognizing that there is no emotion, nothing can destroy you. There is nothing so dark out there that it can actually destroy you on an energetic level, unless you believe that you're it. If you believe that you are that which you think is going to destroy you, then it will overpower you. And it's all an illusion anyway. It's not you. This is an evolution in a very dense physical reality that isn't even real, except that it's real. And everything is being served to you by you, which is a version of you that understands why the consciousness of you, or the light within you, came in. And that every single human is designed to be able to be free and safe. Safe meaning that you can experience anything. It doesn't mean you like it. It doesn't mean it's fair. It doesn't mean that it feels good. It means that you are learning and remembering and mastering how to move through this evolution. That there are thousands of things in the external world that still control you. Control you meaning it convinces you that you are something other than who you actually, or what you actually are. And then you live a reality disempowered with reaction and response based on what the external world is trying to convince you that you are, that you have never been. Everything out there in this world right now is trying to convince us that we are something that we are not. That's one of the biggest illusions, one of the cosmic jokes of being here, is this identification of the external world. Like the external world has this microphone. Did you know that you're this? And did you know that you're that? And do you know you have to do this? And then you have to do that. And you should be doing it like this. And you need to be doing it like that. And this is how all these people do it. So you need to do it like that. And you have to pay this. And like, that's the external world with the mic, with the big megaphone telling you who you are and what you have to do in this world. It's all an illusion. It's all bullshit. It's literally pulling you out of freedom. It's pulling you out of flow. It's pulling you out of empowerment. It's pulling you out of the ability to navigate this entire experience that you chose to come in and navigate. There's this experience that is designed to be felt and experienced within this physical form, that you can walk through anything in life without a reaction or response that puts you into a state of awareness that you are anything other than safe and free to go through it. I cannot repeat that. I have no idea but that was important. Going forward in your day to day, even just today, if you're aware of what is happening outside of you in the world and inside of you, that you give power to. And how do you know you're giving power to it? You're letting it choose your reaction and response. How do you know that you're letting it choose your reaction or response? Because you feel like you don't have a choice. It's like a knee-jerk reaction. Instead, starting to become aware of that, and instead bring yourself into such a state of presence as much as you can through breath. And by simply recognizing that you are moving through whatever is arising and that it isn't you, and that all you have to do is experience it. Instead of react or respond to it. It's very different. It's very different. I'm here to experience. And when you start saying that, it's very empowering. Your sister's in the hospital and dying, okay? I'm here to experience this. Feel that empowered state. I'm here to experience this. And when you do that, you know that you're moving through it. And you realize that it is not you and it's not controlling you. And there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to be afraid of. The reason you have to experience it is because it's being experienced by you. It's that simple. Why do you have to experience it? Because it's being experienced by you. It's arising within your awareness to be experienced. There is no why. Every time we start asking why, it's a very disempowered state. The why needs to be dissolved. The why needs to be stomped out. The why means there's something wrong. There is nothing wrong. with anything that is being experienced by you and with you and for you. And as soon as you start to let that anchor into your beingness, then you stop running from anything and you stop saying why. Why means there's something wrong. You are standing on a planet as a consciousness light energy inside a physical form that is all collectively, as a planetary body and a human collective, moving through, flowing through a process of evolution where that which was hidden, unconscious, is becoming conscious, which basically is dark to light, which is all of it. Unconsciousness and consciousness exist together. Dark exists with light. It's all here. And if you're on the planet in a physical form right now, you're going to experience so much that you wish you didn't and don't want to see. And if you are resisting it, if you are thinking that you are it, if you are giving it power because you are letting it control your reaction and response, you're going to be in a much deeper suffering, disempowered, victim state. You will not be free. You will not be in flow. You won't be able to be present. You won't be experiencing the mastery that you're here to experience as the master, meaning that even the master is an illusion, right? But we're here to remember that we're none of it, that we are empowered and safe to go through it. So there's this mastery that it's all just experience. It's all just experience. And it's an illusion, but it's also real. Is there massive amounts of child sex trafficking? Yes. Is that an illusion? Yes, because everything's an illusion, but it's also very freaking real. You can't say it's not happening. You can't say it's not right in front of you. Of course it is. Is it an aspect of consciousness that is integrating into other aspects of consciousness? Yeah. And the integration process occurs when you realize that there's nothing to do. Okay, we have 2 minutes left. I don't know how that went by so fast. So you guys, I am going to get going. I wanted to do just a few announcements really fast while I still have you here. One, I have a Patreon community. Don't talk about it very often, but I have a Patreon community. I give away free sessions every month. We do a live guided meditation. We do a group coaching session. We do a live channeled message where I channel an energy that comes in. And we do a live Q&A where I answer a lot of your questions. There's 5 live events a month. It's really, really powerful. And it's a beautiful community. We connect all over the world. And we sit with each other all over the world once a week. And it's pretty powerful. We're doing our live 30-minute sessions today. So I'm giving 3 people free 30-minute sessions. And then next week, we're doing a guided meditation that's going to be very powerful and potent. So if you want to join, I'm going to leave the link down below in my Patreon. I will be in Ireland on March 16th for a 3-hour event. Tickets are on sale now on my website. I'll be in London on March 19th and 20th for live events, 2 in-person events. Those tickets, the 20th is sold out. I think the 19th might be sold out. We may have a few seats left. I will be in Amsterdam on March 23rd. Those tickets are going to be available next week. And then I will be in Germany on March 25th. And those tickets will be available by the end of the month. We're still confirming everything. So stay tuned. I can't wait to go over to Europe and see you guys. It's going to be spectacular. Love you guys so much. Be gentle with yourselves. Remember more and more of how to experience all of it and not be any of it. Okay? Experience it. It's not Berlin I'm going to Hamburg. of course, the darker evil is just another aspect of God. And what is God? You know, what is God? I don't think there's a God. I think there is a pulse of love, a vibrational pulse, a tone called, we call it love, right? The all that ever is, was, and will be, that sort of pulsated out all of existence, everything that exists, in order for it to exist, in order for it to experience itself. The only way that it could experience itself was to pulsate out individual, unique consciousnesses that could go and experience. So you're experiencing experience. So there you go. The audiobook will be out. We have the file now, so I would give it a couple more weeks. I'll let everybody know. And the divine design will be translated in many different languages, but we're just waiting for publishers to work with us. There you go. Love you guys so much. I'll see you next Tuesday, 9 a.m. California time for Untangled episode 26. Love you. Be gentle with yourself and others. Mwah.